Hello, Mayhem Makers. I'm Mindy with Quilting Mayhem, and welcome back to another Mindy's Monday Live. Today I want to talk about some binding tools, some ways to kind of help you prepare your binding and get it ready before you put it on your quilt. Because I have some videos that show you how to put it on, but I haven't really done one about prepping and some ways to make it a little easier. So the first one I wanted to show you is the Stripology ruler. I love this ruler, and so I just want to demo how easy it is. So I'm just using a fat quarter for a sample. Generally, I know you'd use like a full width of fabric, but this is just what made it easier for demo. Okay, so I'm just folding it in half. I'm actually going to put my fold line down here closer to me so that I can line it up on one of these lines on the bottom of the ruler. I'm actually going to shift here and I'll show you why. So I've got the line on the fold. Zero mark is here. So I left some of the rough edge to the left of this zero mark. For you guys, it's probably on your right. And then I just want to cut 2.5 inch strips for binding, right? So what's nice is, so I'm going to go in the zero, and that's going to clean up that first edge. And then I'm going to go 1, 2.5. These grooves are every 1/2 inch. So I go 2.5, I go to 5, I go to 7.5, I can go to 10, and then I can go to 12.5. Just like that. I'm not moving a ruler. It doesn't have any shifting of the fabric as I go. And then you pull the ruler up. I like it. You have all these binding strips. It's magical. And that one we didn't true up, all right? And then you have your little bit that you cleaned off. So that's one of the first ones that I absolutely like. Look how easy that was, and you didn't have to worry about like every time you shift the ruler, it gets wonky. And so this kind of is a magical tool. I do love it. She's got different sizes, and you can do all kinds of other things besides just strips with it. So that's just kind of a little teaser entry level of that ruler. It can do so much more. Then of course you get into folding the binding. I know sometimes it gets tedious, but once you seam it together, one of the cool new tools that we have is this kind of silicone mat. This aside. So once you feed your binding strip into the slots in this mat, you can then take your iron, and this one's not on or anything, we're just pretending, but you would have a full-size iron, and you could just iron and essentially pull. If I had it straight, that would be helpful. But what's nice with the silicone is that the iron can sit on it. It's not going to hurt anything. And even with this little, I think because I'm using a smaller iron, it's being a little more fussy because I don't have as much surface area, but you would just keep pulling it through with that iron. And that's the general idea, is you're just going to feed it through and iron as you go. See, it behaves better without me using that iron on there, but you just press and go as you go. So I do love this if you do a lot of ironing of your binding. And then the other one that doesn't even require iron, which I think this is kind of cool. This is the Taylor Seville Magic Binding Maker. And this one is kind of like a bias tape maker if you've ever used one of those, where you're going to take your fabric, you're going to feed it in to this device. Make sure that you have it fed into, there's channel grooves in here. You may not see it because it's clear. We're going to close it, and we're going to do these little locks on there. And then you just pull your fabric through. And look, it keeps it all even. This is crazy. I love that everything stays lined up and ready to go. And you can take it straight to your quilt. It's got that nice firm crease already into it. No heat needed, no iron needed. Even if you had seams in it, you can still run it through there. And what I love also with this one is they do have QR code on there. So there is a demo that shows you how it works, even with the diagonal seam binding on there. So it'll do the full thing. And then of course it also comes with the binding spool. So you can feed your fabric in there and then store your binding. And speaking of binding spools, we have some really cute ones. Oh my gosh. These are some of our favorites. Now we've had them a while, but you never know. Sometimes you guys see things you didn't know we had. So these glitter binding spools are just adorable. And look at, like, you have the 80s throwback. This is kind of a Mardi Gras. This is pink and teal. Let's see. The neon one is Neon Party. Oh, very fitting. The first one is teal and aqua. This just feels very birthday party. And then we have pink hearts, as I hold it upside down. Those are fun. And then this one's called Winter. It's just kind of a silver glitter in there. A lot of fun, but it's nice because you can take your binding and you just wrap it up, just like this one. You know, you wrap it, store it, because maybe you're not ready. Maybe you make your binding at the beginning, and then that way you tuck it aside, so when that quilt is done and ready to go, you can slap that binding on and it's all prepared, ready to go. I'm not quite that organized all the time, but I know you guys are out there. So those are just a couple fun little tools that we had in the store that I wanted to show that maybe will make your life a little easier when it comes to binding, because I know a lot of times, if you're like me, you're running around going, where did I put the fabric for the binding, and where did this go, and all of a sudden you're like, I can't even find it. So maybe if you start doing your binding when your quilt's done, before you send it off to the quilter or put it in the pile to be quilted, those kinds of things, get that binding prepared, get it ready so that when you actually want to sew it on there, you know where it is and it's ready to go. So if anything, you can go to our website, quiltingmayhem.com, to look up any of these products and get more information about them. We do have them in the store and on the website. Hopefully you are following us on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for all our ideas and all our what is new in the store. We hope you have a lovely day and keep on stitching.